Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Joseph Podcast. I'm Tamara.
And I'm TJ.
And today's episode, we're talking about what integrating into a new environment looks like. People, family, community, friends, all of that good stuff.
I'm sure a lot of you have been through this, maybe making a move for work or even relocating to another country. What are the first things that come to mind? Sometimes people are fortunate enough to know people. Other times it's a blank canvas. No pun intended, but shout out to the Blank Canvas space. Again, sponsoring the video, sponsoring
I love that.
our space. Yeah, there's just a lot of moving parts, a lot to figure out. And shout out to me for the again. That's kind of where we've been at. And it's a process too. It's not like a land, unpack, meet some friends at a bar or at work or at church and get moving. It takes time. How you describe your transition? It's been a bit longer, but still there was a process.
Where do I start? I guess career would be a good place to start, maybe.
Okay.
I came to the US in 2012. And the plan at the time was to go to school for petroleum engineering. And I was very excited. Actually, I wanted to be a chemical engineer. Because
My wife's the nerd, by the way, guys. Super smart.
I loved talking about hydrocarbons. It was like, it used to make me so happy. And I love the smell of gas at the gas station. But don't do this, please. Don't inhale it. It's bad. But I wanted to be a chemical engineer. And I remember someone telling me when I was much younger that chemical engineering was so specific and that, you know, have I considered petroleum engineering? And I thought, I haven't heard of it, but okay, sounds like a plan. I did some research and I was like, okay, good, let's go. Got into school for petroleum engineering in Tulsa and did it for only a year. And then I had to transfer to Texas A&M.
Gig'em.
And
did I get it right?
It's Gig'em, but I don't even know what the Gig'em means.
Cool.
I'm so bad. I transferred to Texas A&M and I didn't get in for petroleum engineering. I got in for industrial engineering and I had never heard of it. I thought, please, what's industrial engineering? Like, I didn't like the classes. I don't know if that's a story for today, but my journey at A&M, maybe we'll do it a different day. But I didn't like the classes, but I really liked my advisor at the time. She was very sweet. So I did it for a few months, maybe a semester or two. And then I thought, this thing is not working out. So I kept trying to force it. I want to get back into petroleum engineering. I want to get back into petroleum engineering. And it just wasn't working out. That was the same semester that I was depressed and felt like Texas was so big and just so lonely and I didn't have anyone around, didn't know anyone. I was coming from the University of Tulsa. It was a much smaller school and I had friends from different parts of the world. I'm talking the Middle East, Africa,
United Nations,
everywhere. Like it was amazing. Till today, I could never forget that experience because I truly enjoyed it and it really felt like this is what college is supposed to feel like. So when I got to A&M, it was very different for me and I struggled for maybe more than a semester, actually. I was really trying to force the whole petroleum engineering thing, and I realized not quickly enough, but at some point, I'm going to have to switch over to something that I enjoy. Now, when I was at Tulsa, my major was petroleum engineering, but my minor was geology.
Okay.
And so I went
Hope you know the tracking with this.
Yeah, sorry.
These are just words.
Very long. But I went to the geology department and I spoke to the advisor and the dean and I love, oh my gosh, the geology department at A&M. Actually, before then, anyways, I don't want to make the story too long, but before then I actually went to a different department before going to geology. Long story short, I got into petroleum geology and that's what my major ended up being. Now, I think it was the last episode or 2 episodes before this, I was telling you guys about the fact that
It's okay. Keep going.
That I was telling you guys that I've been on this educational journey for a very long time. 13 years as of 2025. And so in the midst of waiting for things to happen, whether it's going through, again, seasons of depression or seasons of not being able to pay my fees on time or, you know, just kind of waiting. And shout out to international students, because if you're in the US and you've had to wait for your fees to come from Nigeria, I just salute you, or anywhere in the world, and you've had to come here and, you know,
or just anyone
tug it out. Anyone who's an international student
had to figure out how to make ends meet.
Yeah. Shout out to you because you're doing the thing It's not an easy journey, and it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's doable. So I, in the midst of waiting for this journey to be completed, so just imagine thinking you're going to be done in 4 years, and then 4 years go by and nothing, and then you keep going, going, going. So 4 plus 4 plus another 4.
Four, four, four.
In the midst of all of that, I got into content creation. So it wasn't something that I wanted to do or something that I thought, oh, this is something that I would enjoy doing. No, I started doing makeup. I started watching YouTube videos and started doing makeup. I used to do makeup in school, in college, and then I used to freelance and do makeup on the side as well. And then somehow I stumbled into content creation, and then I began this journey of digital content creation, which I'm doing right now. And then at some point added financial entrepreneurship, which is trading, because I do Forex trading. So it's been a very long process, but I think I've journeyed into different areas just in terms of like my career.
Yeah.
So even though I went to school for one thing, which is petroleum geology, and working in the oil and gas space, in real life, I've actually been more so a digital entrepreneur than anything else.
Yeah, I think even just describing all of that, it's definitely reminiscent of an entrepreneurial journey. It's not A, B, C, D. I mean, how does life typically work? Graduate school, try and find a job, might get a job, might not get a job, or might get a job that's nothing to do with what you studied, and you kind of figure your way out, and you maybe branch into the entrepreneurial journey. But this is kind of, would you say it was the chicken before the egg? Or the egg before the chicken? I don't know. Which way around does it go?
But I like that chicken versus egg thing.
It's
a nice
kind of,
analogy.
waiting to graduate. Start this, pivot to this,
Yeah.
pivot back to this, and kind of all these layers and trying to figure it out while waiting.
Yeah.
Which in itself, I mean, we haven't even gotten to getting into an environment, but we're still talking about one aspect of just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
The uncertainty, the anxiety that can come with it, the depression that can come with it,
Yeah.
because there's friends who A equals B equals C, or family or people around you, and you kind of see the trajectory. They said they wanted to do this, they did it. They wanted to do that next, they did it. And then you're kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to do this. I have to do this. I need to do this. I need to figure that out. And it's a bit scrambled. It's
not linear.
Yeah, that
It's
is
not linear.
every bit entrepreneurship, figuring it out. I don't know if I said in a previous episode, but Richard Branson, his book, I think it's called Losing My Virginity. Was it in the book? I don't know. Anyway, Richard Branson basically said entrepreneurship is saying yes and then figuring it out. And in every sense, I think everybody has an element of entrepreneurship in them, because entrepreneurship is just solving things out. And I think that's literally what you've had to do. Sometimes solve, sometimes wait, sometimes sulk. I think we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But just keep going,
Absolutely.
Okay, that's interesting.
How about you, career-wise? Let's talk about that.
Career-wise, do I have? So I've definitely had to move around and settle and network and establish community and figure things out. I graduated late as well. I'm supposed to graduate in 3 years. It took me 5. I'd love to say that was for noble reasons, but
I wish it took me 5.
I had too much time, too much fun out of class to be in class. It's just, let's just leave it. I don't even know if the word's fun, but we'll just leave it at that. I wasn't serious. And so it took me longer than it should have. And as is often the case, sometimes you need a serious reality check to get you on track. I mentioned it. I think I have mentioned it.
Yeah.
I moved out to Dubai.
You mentioned it.
And that was different. Dubai is interesting because everybody's a foreigner, or there's more foreigners than locals. And so it's good and bad. It's good because everyone's very open and friendly to meet people because no one knows anyone. So it makes meeting people easier. But then within meeting people, you then sometimes might find that eagerness to meet people is just kind of on a surface level. Everyone just wants to have someone to be able to hang out with and go out with and have brunch with. But then you kind of filter it out. And so I had to do that. I was there for 3.5 years, filter it out, and eventually got to a good friendship group. And I, worked 2 jobs, not at the same time, but one and then the other. So there was kind of that reset as well. moved to Nigeria, and that was a little bit more familiar, and that there's family and whatnot, but it was home, but it wasn't home. I was born there, but England has always felt more like home to me, and so I had to figure that out. I used to call it organized chaos. I don't even know if it's organized chaos. Those that know, but for those that don't, it everything's just happening, and you just find it's like a what you call it, a tumble dryer. Literally just spinning, everything's moving around, and you're in there trying to, figure out your own way. Did that for a couple of years. Then obviously we met. And then I didn't actually move here. I moved back to England, which was interesting because I just said England felt like home. But a lot of the people that I'd known, life happened. People had moved to different countries. People had moved to different parts of England. I was based in London, got married, kids, life was happening. So it just felt really empty. That base that I had wasn't really there anymore. People had moved out of the country or to different parts of the country. I guess the one consistent is that it was cold and wet. And so that was a different kind of adjustment.
Yeah.
But adjust you must. You have to, adapt, figure it out. And I did what I knew best, which was just to throw myself at work. The gym and I became really good friends. Not because I wanted to be in shape, although I did need to be in shape, but it was an escape. It was a release. It was therapy. It was good. It was good. We've kind of spoken about the adjustments of the career side of things, the expectations versus realities, meeting new people, trying to kind of integrate. I guess another aspect would be family. So we've spoken about career. What's it like integrating when you're a newlyweds? I mean, our story was actually quite interesting because, like I said, I moved back to England. Tamara was here in the States, and this was during the pandemic. So my family was in England. Her family was here in Nigeria. I had some family in Nigeria too, but we were dating across borders.
Across the border.
Quite the borders, literally, because it was a triangle. It was London, Lagos, Houston, Lagos, and
yeah, that was fun.
That was fun, and our families didn't meet. Interestingly, our families actually did not meet physically until the day before we got married, which, for any culture, environment, tricky. Although it panned out quite well. Do you want to speak to that?
By the way, guys, I'm freezing because the studio is so cold. First of all, it's cold outside. And you already know I don't like the cold. So I'm freezing. And this air is not getting warmer. We turned on the heater like 5 minutes or 10, 15 minutes ago. But it's not getting any warmer. So if you see me struggling and moving around, it's because I'm trying to get comfortable. All right, so integrating in terms of families, that was interesting. It wasn't bad for me, honestly. It was just new and different. Although I did meet my mother-in-law before meeting everyone else.
That's true. Yeah.
So a few months before we got married, she came to the US, and then we met up and had an incredible time. Got to spend some time together and do some fun stuff together before the wedding. So I met her, and then the rest of the clan I met before the wedding, which was fun. Before then, I'd been talking to a few people. You know how it is. You meet the siblings, then the uncles, the aunts, and, the closer family, and then the extended family. But it was fun. It was good. I didn't have any issues with it. It was fun. I knew as well that it was just for the time of the wedding that they were all going to be here. So I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Having all our family here for the wedding was beautiful. I've just had to figure ways to navigate blending our families as much as possible over the phone because it's hard. It's easier when
over the phone.
Over
time
the phone.
Differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's difficult. It's not straightforward. It's not easy because you miss out on a lot of things. And then when you do get to see each other, you have to catch up on those things, and
it's a short time.
So it's hard. It's hard to build an actual relationship when you're so far apart. especially when you have to do it with multiple people.
Yeah.
Now, when it's just one person, it's hard enough. It's long distances. I don't advise. But when you have to do it with many people and you have to build those relationships, it takes some time and takes some
time.
getting used to.
Yep.
And it takes grace as well. One thing that I know that I had to figure out was I needed to give myself grace and remember that these are people that I'm just meeting for the first time. So I don't know their temperament. I don't know what triggers them. I don't know what makes them happy. So I have to give myself time to learn them as much as they're learning to welcome me into the family as well. So it's been a journey, but we're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great period. You know, I was nervous. I couldn't tell you why, but I was. But it turned out great. It was even a family reunion as well, because obviously the pandemic had
kept everyone away for so long.
It kept everyone away. It was winding down. So everyone hadn't traveled for a while. And funny enough, even though most of my family was in London, a lot of people hadn't seen, because the lockdown in London was quite intense.
Yeah, Texas was different.
Texas was different. Texas was different. But that's just Texas. But yeah, so it was a wedding. It was a reunion. It was great. It was fun. The weather was nice. It was spring, so April.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too hot. But that was great. And I guess that's probably a good transition into community.
Because
I remember one of the first things after we got married that I said was, like, I want us to have a community of like-minded people. We had a couple of friends, well, more so Tamara than me, over here. I had one or two, and I just wanted a community of like-minded people. I don't like going out. I don't really like clubbing, you know, and I say that based on where we were, you know what I mean? That was something that I did a lot in my younger years.
BC, before Christ.
Something like that. I was just at a phase of my life where, for me, and I say that then and now, downtime now for me is, I mean, we're in Texas, so it's not quite applicable, but go to the beach, hang out at friends' houses, or come over, let's hang out, go to the cinema, find, like, you know, quirky things to do.
We're home buddies.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, if I travel, different story. You know, I'm on holiday. It's, you know, I don't mind going to a nice bar or whatever, but definitely kind of, you know, in base mode or in home mode, home buddy. So for me,
for sure,
you're gonna get me out of my house if I'm coming to your house to eat
jollof rice,
watch the game, and just chill. That's it. The restaurants, date night and stuff is more for the misses. But yeah, so that was really, really an intentional thing. So what did we do?
What did we do? We took it upon ourselves to create. Okay, I took it upon myself to create a community of the people that we knew. We just started to get them together to do stuff together. So we started planning couples date nights and couples hangouts, so that we would meet our friends and then they would come with their friends. And now we have
community.
we have a solid community of,
and in different ways too, you know, because there's the couples community, and then there's the ladies aspect, there's the gents aspect, then there's the kids, and I mean, we don't have kids yet, but within the community, different people do have kids at different ages, and we try to meet up
from time to time.
Sometimes, as with anything in life, we're better at it than others, and we try to stay in touch, and it's evolving, and even since then, by virtue of, I guess, church.
We'll talk about church community.
Yeah.
Well, that's so more recent.
I mention it just to say, just by virtue of going to church, we've built friendships through church. And I guess that's, you know, why I say it takes time, because also in career or entrepreneurial, should I say, aspects, you know, you meet people and click, or you remain acquaintances, and it just kind of evolves from there. Or, you know, people move in from out of town, because Tamara has a lot of friends across the states, you
Yeah.
know, or they have friends and it's like, hey, my friend just moved in, you know,
Yeah, you
would
meet
love
up
you
with
guys to
them, show
connect.
them
Yeah,
around.
exactly. You know,
But
so
we definitely had to come out of our comfort zone because, like you said, we're home buddies. But we
yes,
definitely had to
yes, yes,
make an effort to build a community because
true.
you can't do life alone. And we realized it very quickly. We wanted to, yes, we wanted like-minded people, but we also wanted young people that were like,
In our
in
age
our
bracket,
circle, yeah, so that we could. And we've
I don't know if I classify as young anymore, but
you're young,
younger.
you're young, you're young, you're
Younger.
young in you're young. Let's
Okay.
just leave it there.
Okay.
But so yeah,
So-
we built community in terms of our friends and their families. And this year we started going to a new church, and we've also started to build community through our church as well. I guess for me, especially because for a long time, and especially because I've lived in Texas this is my 11th year in Texas. And the way I've looked for a church, it's not nice. I had to make it a prayer point. I said, God, please, please, I just need a church community. Okay, let me say it this way though. I didn't grow up in church. I grew up Catholic, and
So you grew up in the Catholic Church?
yes, I grew up. I didn't really. I mean,
Even yeah, I know.
I don't really know if I was even like into it like that, but I definitely grew up going to the Catholic Church and have since evolved and moved into, building a personal relationship with God and things like that. And so I wanted a place where I would be able to get discipled as much as I would be fed the word of God. And for a long time, I just didn't find that in Houston. So now that we're getting accustomed to our new church and building family with them, it's been nice. It's been nice, honestly. A few months ago, I lost my grandpa, and my church community, like our church community, they were just incredible. Sometimes you meet people and you just don't know. But when people show up for you, especially in times where like when you go through like really tough situations in life, it truly it really moved me. I have to be honest.
And it really exceeded, I don't want to say expectations, but it was still a fresh connection.
Yeah.
But this was a very painful time. And everybody just kind of, when you meet people that kind of just jump in like you've known them for like yonks, it was very comforting for me as well, see, because I had just come back in from London and
Yeah.
I wasn't here at the time. And so it was kind of like, man, who's going to be around to help, and that really, really,
it really touched you. I remember you saying like you were very touched by it.
It really did. But yeah, folks.
Yeah, that's what it's looked like. We're building community, through the different things that we've spoken about, and yeah, we're really now starting to feel like, okay, this feels much
Laying, like strong foundations.
I don't know what the word is. Yes.
Strong foundations, I think.
For where we are right now.
Yes.
We don't know what the future holds, but for where we are, we're happy with it.
100%. 100%.
I promise I didn't pay him to say that.
I love. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's it. If not, we'll end up waffling. We're good at waffling too.
That's all. We just wanted to talk about how we've integrated. So if you're someone that's new and you're coming into a new environment, I think
give it time.
Yes.
Be patient. You will meet people and they might not stick around or you might not stick around, and it's okay. You know? As with anything else, you're trying to figure it out, but just give it time.
Give it time, for sure. For sure.
And sometimes you'll end up connecting with people in the most unexpected places or the most unlikely circumstances. I mean, obviously, default might be family connects, could be work, but you just never know. But there has to be an openness.
Exactly.
There has to be an openness and a willingness. And trust me, we're saying this as home buddies, because people who are more outgoing are more likely to meet people. But it is possible, whether you like to sit on your couch, or you would rather be out at a restaurant or wherever. There are other people who like to sit on couches. It might take more time, but you'll get there. So just give it time.
Yeah. And also just be open to stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yes, yes,
Be
yes.
open to
Because
it.
a lot of it probably wouldn't have happened if not for my wife, honestly.
Especially in adulthood. You know, it's harder to make friends when you're already an adult.
Yeah,
You're
you
used
begin to
to
become settled or set in your ways,
your ways. Yeah.
and so you know, you that comfort zone is you hold on to it a bit more. But just give it time. Just give it time. I think that's what I'd say. On that note,
I agree. On that note,
thank you
thank you for
for
watching.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you for watching, guys. We will see you. We
On
talked
the next
about,
one.
yeah, we talked about everything. We talked about everything.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We will see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.